Hi, my name is Ed Barron, and I've been asked to do a video for a website called HIV Above and Beyond by Jeremy Scott Hobbs, who I've followed for the past 3 or 4 years on the internet. I'm honored to be able to do this. I feel as an administrator I should tell a little bit about my story. I've been HIV positive since 1986. I heard about HIV back in 1981. Heard about the gay cancer. It was called GRID, gay-related immune deficiency. They hadn't even identified the virus yet. Somewhere around 1985, they made some progress and they found the virus to be something called HTLV. They also coined the term AIDS, which is acquired immune deficiency syndrome. In 1986, I moved in with 2 gay men, and they were both HIV positive. They suggested I go get tested, so I did. Up to that point, I felt I was immune because I lived in San Diego, and San Diego was 5 years behind everybody else. And little did I know the virus doesn't care. So I tested positive, and at that time they gave us 5 years to live. There were no antivirals out yet. AZT hadn't come to market. Over the course of the next 2 years, I watched one of my roommates get very sick, and he died from encephalitis of the brain. I didn't know what the hell that was. I had heard about KS, Kaposi sarcoma, and pneumocystis pneumonia, PCP, but that was the extent of what I had heard. But this was a new one, and he died quickly. The other gentleman, not so fortunate. He came down with Kaposi sarcoma and started developing lesions all over him. And I was devastated, and I thought, oh my God, this is my fate. I was unwilling to deal with it, and I was not the friend that I wish I could have been, but I did the best I could. It was very difficult to watch friends die. I ran into drug addiction to take me away, because they told me I only had a couple of years to live, and if I was going to die, like these 2 gentlemen did, I was going to go out with a blast. Little did I know that they would come out with meds so quickly. They came out with AZT. And I believe AZT had its place in the arsenal. Initially the dosage was too high, but we were so sick that we would do anything. My friends couldn't tolerate AZT, but I could. And then nothing came down the pike. Eventually DDI and D4T came about, and those were experimental, and I was still taking AZT. I was also taking Convivir. So I was on that regimen for a while. I watched my friend battle Kaposi sarcoma. He had seizure disorders, and he fought up until 1992 when he passed away. It was a horrible death, and I still was afraid that I would be next. Then 1993 comes about, and all of a sudden we hit protease inhibitors. The first one comes out, but I'm not ready to go on those because we don't know anything about them, and I'm okay with AZT and 3TC, which is Convivir. I watched people who develop Crick's hump and Crick's-Van Belly from one of the first protease inhibitors, and it's like, no way I'm not going through that. So I vacillate between drug addiction and taking my HIV meds. And 1999, I'm diagnosed with hepatitis C. And I hear about co-infections and everything, but in my arrogance, I think, I've got the virus, what else can happen? Not realizing that what they're talking about are all these other infections. I had to learn the hard way. I don't recommend anyone do that. So I come down with hepatitis C, but I'm not stable on my HIV. My doctors don't feel that I can do the interferon therapy, so we don't address it. We monitor my liver functions, everything's cool. But I'm feeling good, so I decided to stop taking my HIV meds. And in 2004, I come down with my first opportunist infection, pneumocystis pneumonia, and that's quite debilitating. And that's my first wake-up call. I've had many, but that was my first. So I go back on meds. I get stronger. I feel better. I'm still living the life of unprotected sex, multiple sex partners. Because I feel I'm immune. I've already got the virus. What else could happen? More would be revealed. Still not treating the hepatitis C. My liver functions are fine. I have the PCP. I go out on a run, and next thing I know, I've got second stage syphilis. And we end up having a catheter put in, and I walk around for 10 days with an IV drip. So of course I go back on my HIV meds, that comes under control, and this is a pattern that would repeat itself over and over through my story. Then in 2009, I'm ripping and running again, and all of a sudden I develop some kind of a lesion, and I don't know what it is. In my arrogance again, I got herpes, but it's more than that. And I find out that I have anal cancer, which is the HPV virus, another opportunist infection. I go through chemo and radiation, and I'm devastated. My bowels are destroyed. I will wear diapers for the rest of my life. The other option would be to get a colostomy bag. I'm a gay man, and it's all about vanity. It's bad enough that I got to talk about having HIV, and I have to talk about having hepatitis C. I also have chronic CMV. I have bacterial infections that I never even knew existed. I had to learn the hard way. So I go through the chemo and radiation, and I'm devastated because I'm not the person that I thought I was. I can no longer participate in a sexually active environment, which was so big a part of my life. So who the hell am I? So I go and I see a movie called United in Anger. Well, actually, I go to the Body Electric for a rebirthing, to mourn the person that I was. And through that, I come to grips with the fact that, yes, I've had a lot of trauma in my life, but that doesn't identify who I am. I am not a sexually active gay man. I'm just a man who happens to be gay. What a revelation. So I go and I see this movie called United in Anger, which is the history of ACT UP. ACT UP was instrumental in getting the drugs that saved my life. As a result of seeing that movie, I feel motivated. This is why I'm still here, to be able to give back to the community that saved my life. So I join ACT UP New York, and I get involved, and I participate in civil disobediences and die-ins and demonstrations at the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, because now we have drugs on the market that can be used as a prophylactics. Truvada, which I've been taking since it came on the market, it's proven to be another tool to prevent the spread of HIV when used in conjunction with condoms. What a gift. All because of what ACT UP did back in the late 80s, when they shut down the NIH and the CDC and got drugs brought to market that saved my life. So today I sit on councils for New Jersey HIV Prevention Group, which is funded through Ryan White. Ryan White was a young man who died from the virus. He was a hemophiliac, and he contracted the virus, and he was ostracized. The stigma associated with HIV is still rampant, but it was far worse in the 80s than it is today. It's a different kind of stigma today. Today we stigmatize ourselves. I only play with pause. No, I don't play with pause. Pause for pause. It's all a crock. We need to learn to love one another and be there for one another and show compassion and love, because that's what the journey is all about, learning to love one another and learning to love ourselves. As a gay man, it was a hard journey to get to. But today I feel compelled to reach out to the younger generation. That's why I'm still here. To let them know that it's not over yet. That yes, if they contract the virus, they can live a healthy, normal life because of all the work that's been done. But they can't forget that if they don't get into care and treatment, that their life is going to be a living hell. And they'll go down the same path that I went down. And I don't want to see that happen to anybody. That's my story. I hope you get something out of it. My name is Ed Barron. I live in New Jersey. Thank you.